Hello again, YouTube land. So today is Friday in our house. Friday is supposed to be my day off, which, depending on how I'm feeling, means anything from I'm not doing more than making my husband his cup of coffee in the morning to, alright, we're trying to save money, I'll give you breakfast with coffee, I'll pack you a lunch, and I'll make dinner when you get home. Today it was, I'll give you breakfast with coffee and I'll make dinner for us by the time you get home. I'm getting myself lunch. Feed yourself. Which is not a bad or unexpected thing. I mention it because the last couple of weeks, my system has not been handling stress well. And I've been trying to relax. I've been trying to get enough things accomplished that I don't feel like I have a ton of bricks weighing on my shoulders. But it's not easy. And it's not just, alright, now I know some of you are going to call bullshit when I say this, but I don't fucking care because it's true. I was born a partial empath. Now, people know what empath is in a sci-fi sense, like Star Trek kind of thing, Deanna Troi sort of a. In my case, it's, if you were going to use a sci-fi reference analogy, I guess it would have to be Deanna Troi, because in my case, I get my gift from my mother, who's now long dead. And my father has no particular mental gifts to speak of in this sense. Clairvoyant, psychic, empathic, etc. So the last couple of weeks, Sam has been really quite strained and stressed, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, he works in an internet sales department, which you would think, being that it's for a nonprofit bookstore, wouldn't be that stressful. But the internet department has, in almost every sense, been carrying that store increasingly over the last year, which is a great thing. I mean, it's a nonprofit organization that deserves the business, needs the business, does good work. And the internet team is a good team. Well, those I've met and somewhat socialized with. So much so that it was that department supervisor that got promoted when the store's vice president moved somewhere else. So it's been tough on him, and he doesn't have the talents I have for confrontation and triage, organization, and quite frankly, prioritizing. I mean, to him, more often than not, it's all a top priority, because all he can focus on is, I need to get all of this done. So every so often I'll go in and help him and say, alright, what needs to be figured out, what needs to be accomplished? And he'll give me this rambling list of things, and given that I'm one of maybe 2 or 3 people on the planet who's capable of taking all of that in and making anywhere near a sense of sense out of it, I go in and I help him triage, and then I go do some of the footwork, which ordinarily I'm not really one to volunteer for. Not because I think the exercise or the volunteering is bad, but because I have a really fucked up physical structure, okay? I have issues with headaches, light and smell sensitivity, sound sensitivity. I have a pinched area at the top and bottom of my spine. I have arthritis in both of my knees, heel spurs in both of my feet. There is any number of ways and reasons why functional life is problematic for me. And yes, exercise would help with several of the issues I face, but not the narrowing of my spine at both ends. It's not going to get rid of my arthritis, and it's certainly not going to get rid of my heel spurs. It's just going to make me not quite so fat when I exercise, which makes all of those problems feel less painful. So with all of that going on, Sam has been stressed, and being a partial empath, I've been feeling double and triple stressed from what I ordinarily feel, which is really saying something, because without making ethnic jokes about myself, I can't really explain why that's funny, but it's funny to me because A, I'm a girl, I'm a woman, I identify as female, and females, in my experience, who identify as such, tend to be natural warriors. Beyond that, I also happen to be Jewish on one side of my family, and all the Jewish women I have ever been exposed to have been natural warriors, which is not to say that Jewish men don't worry or that men in general aren't warriors. It's just that we tend to be a hell of a lot more obvious about it. So, there's my personality being that way, and then there's Sam being extra stressed out about any number of things. And I've been waking up at 4 a.m. most mornings. I've been getting maybe 5 hours of sleep a night. I've been in perpetual pain most days because when you get that kind of stressed out and you already have a predisposition to muscle seizure and strain, that's the first thing. I mean, think about it. When you get really stressed out, your back gets tight, you develop a headache, it feels like you need to move your neck around a lot because everything's really tight. When that happens to someone who has a predisposition to severe musculature issues, it's 3 times as bad. And muscular issues can develop in any number of ways. I mean, in my case, it's predisposition based on prior injury, exacerbated by weight, somewhat tangentially caused by weight. In some people's situation, it's that purely I was injured and have residual muscle issues. But being who and what I am, and Sam being who and what he is, it's felt like a fucking nightmare. And I know I'm swearing a lot this particular podcast, but this is the first day in 2 weeks where my day didn't feel like it was dragging ass beyond belief. I mean, if you put the Melting Clocks painting into action, slow as it might be, it would have felt faster than most of the days I've experienced in the past 2 weeks. So, this is the first day I haven't significantly felt like that, which is good. And I know I've been feeling better because the last few days, our cat Tribble, who, yes, is named after a Star Trek reference, has been running around psychotic the better part of the last few days because she knows something isn't right. She can smell, quite literally, that something isn't right. I'm giving off a pheromone and scent of stress, so is Sam. Today, she spent half the day asleep on our bed, and right now she's napping in the bathroom sink. She spent about 20 minutes playing with me and one of her toys, getting brushed, and that's it. So I know things are significantly calmer somehow, because she's not freaking out. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, I've been trying to put more into job hunting, especially because I don't have my job coach now. I mean, I'm going to be seeing him in 2 weeks, but that's basically going to be like, good luck in your future endeavors. Here's some goodies to take with you. So, and that's me. Like, I specifically volunteered and offered to make him a farewell goodie basket because it's what I do. Feeding people is what I do. Helping people and feeding people is what I do, aside from being a writer, and I still can't manage to find anything that pays me for any one of the number of things I'm good at. I know I'm a good writer. I know I'm good at conflict resolution. I know I can handle stress and confrontation when it comes to customer service. I know I'm good at customer service. I know I'm good at feeding people, and I know I love to cook. If you've seen any of the pictures I post on Facebook that cross-post on Twitter, or vice versa, you know what I'm talking about. But I can't find anything that, like, and I've been, well, not the entire time I've been unemployed have I been ardently looking for work. And that's a failing on my part. I admit and acknowledge that's a failing on my part. I haven't put the back into it that I could have and should have at several points for reasons that to no one but me sound rational. But the more effort I put into job hunting, the more discouraged I get. Because our wedding anniversary is in, what's today? If we count today as already gone, our first wedding anniversary is in 21 days. Which is good. I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. Most people in my life never thought I'd get married, let alone survive being married. Which is actually a whole separate conversation that's just sprung up in my head that I want to talk about. But let's focus. Not long after that, actually about a month, plus 2 weeks, is my birthday. And I'm turning 29 this year. And I say that with my eyes closed and a chagrin look on my face because, good Lord, I hate aging. I hate getting older. And part of that has to do with having grown up in such a stressful situation that I have earned a certain level of self-analytical wisdom and emotional wounds that make me come off a lot deeper, a lot more mature, a lot more filled with wisdom and insight. And it's not because, I'm Gandhi or something. I'm not Mother Teresa. Good Lord, no. Fuck no. It's that I had to go through so much fucking crap to get here. I'm not smelling like a rose. I didn't come out clean on the other side. There were plenty of things I did in high school that most people would be like, how did you not get arrested? And yet I can't find decent, regular employment. Most of my 20s, I've been unemployed. How fucking ridiculous is that? And I hate it. I hate it because I want to be doing something with my time. I want to be doing something with my effort. I want to be doing something with my talent. But above all that, I want some piece of crap HR person to stop long enough and realize that they're passing over someone who would be so monumentally beneficial to that whole fucking company. I don't care what company you're talking about. Too often, when I used to be asked for interviews, I would get passed over for certain things I never should have gotten passed over for because people made snap decisions and snap judgments and assumed that I was too young and too green. And yes, their loss, fuck them. But I'm getting to a point now where that's just not gonna fly. It's not, okay? Because A, I'm turning 29 this year, which means I'm pushing 30. And I want to shoot myself for that reason alone. But beyond that, I've been unemployed so long that it is beyond miraculous karma that I have a roof over my head, that I have food, that I have access to transportation and health. It is miraculous karma. And I can only assume it's because of all the bullshit I went through to get to this point. So I cannot take that for granted. So, I'm married now. I want to be a mother. I want us to I'll admit it. I've been writing Sam about the fact that I wanted to start a family for the better part of 3 years. And yes, we've been married less than 1 year. So he's been having to deal with me and my wanting to be a mom issues for a long time. And he's not against the idea. I remember his shrink asked us that once. She said to us, are we on the same page about wanting to start a family? And we both went, yes. And she went, oh, good, okay. No, you wouldn't understand. Like the number of people I've tried to help where they didn't realize that there was a disconnect on such a fundamental level that one didn't want kids, but you both do. Good, we're on the same page. Let's go forward from there. So I know Sam wants to, but like most people, he doesn't understand and accept the fact that you're never ready for change. You never are. You can't be. The fundamental largest changes in our lives are people dying, having kids, having to make some massive major move in your life from one side of the planet to the other at the last minute for a job opportunity. There's no way to predict it. Health crises come up. There's no way to know. So suffice it to say, I've been especially stressed the last couple of weeks. And I'm sorry that this post has lasted quite so long, but there were several things I really needed to say. So I'm going to go back to my Netflix Star Trek Next Generation marathon, because I am that kind of nerd. And if you've stuck with me this long, here's a funny thing I'm willing to admit to that only just happened about 20 minutes ago. I had that awkward moment where I realized I had just hung up the phone with calling my husband at work, but instead of me calling my husband, it was me calling and pretending to be the cat. And when I hung up the phone, I went, good Lord. I interrupted a Star Trek Next Generation marathon to go sit with our cat Tribble, who is named for a Star Trek character, to use a communications device on speakerphone to call my husband to pretend to be the cat. I'm a nerd.